Well, hello, my little rays of sunshine. How are you all doing out there today? I'm Michelle the Introvert, and today you find me once again in the kitchen. And I'd like to share with you a few kitchen projects that have been keeping me fairly busy, actually very busy, the past few days. Now, a couple of days ago, Gerald and I went out together and we decided to do some blackberry picking because I have a lot of plans for the blackberries that we pick. Some of them are going to go in the freezer and have gone into the freezer. And some of them, the ones that we've picked, I made some blackberry jam with. And I didn't want to make a huge batch of blackberry jam, just a few jars, because it's just Gerald and Joshua and myself. And I might give a jar to my daughter Stacy. But I just needed to make a small batch. So a couple of days ago, I made some blackberry jam. I have picked up in the store a couple of boxes of Surdo. And one of the reasons why I picked up Surdo is so I can make some jam. I just assumed that Surdo would have the blackberry jam recipe. So when I looked over the instructions, they have a no-cook jam section, they have a cooked jam section, and they have cooked jellies with different recipes in between here. And it's the cooked jam section that I was interested in. And here they have strawberry, raspberry, apricot, and orange marmalade. But to my dismay, they didn't have blackberries, like a recipe to make blackberry jam. So I thought, gee, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And some of you know that I like to try things, see how things work out. Sometimes things are a success that I make, sometimes they're a fail. So I thought, well, I have the instructions for raspberry jam making, and I have lots of the Surdo here with the pectin. So I thought, well, I have the sugar, I have the Surdo, I have a raspberry jam recipe. So I thought, well, I'll just substitute the blackberries with the raspberries and see how that turns out. So I followed the instructions for the raspberry jam, and instead of using one package here of the pectin, I used 1.5. And my friends, I can happily say that my blackberry jam was a success. My blackberry jam was a success, and I had a lot of fun making it. Since we're still on the topic of jams, I got to thinking that since I'm making fresh jam this year, this fall, I thought it would be good to use up some of the older jams that I have in my fridge. Jams that I've picked up over the past few months from farmers markets or craft sales, or jams that I made myself a year or two ago. And what I have here is strawberry kiwi jam. I bought this at like a craft sale. And some grape jelly. That also was at like a craft sale. It was like a farmer's market craft sale type setting. And I have some strawberry jam that I had made. And as you can see, there wasn't a lot left in this jar and the other jars as well. And I wanted to get these used up, so I put my thinking cap on and I came up with the idea of making some jam cookies to help use up some of my older jams. So I pulled out a recipe for jam cookies, otherwise known as thumbprint cookies, and I was successfully able to make a nice sized batch of jam cookies. And with the rest of the jams in these jars here, I'm gonna find another recipe where I can use it all up, but I'm happy to say that I had a great success again with making jam cookies. Something else that I wanted to do, and I've been wanting to do it for some time, and that is to make a homemade corn chowder. And I've never made corn chowder in my whole entire life, so I made it yesterday for the very first time, and in doing that I added some carrot greens and some dill and some basil that I took from my own vegetable garden, dehydrated it and ground it up, and I wanted to use that in my corn chowder. So yesterday I used all of those items that I mentioned that I dehydrated, and and I put them into my corn chowder, and it was absolutely delicious. I've been having a bit of a craving for shepherd's pie, and as a lot of you may know already, I like to load my shepherd's pie with lots and lots of vegetables. So because my vegetable garden was successfully able to grow some carrots, some green and yellow beans, and of course the different items that I dehydrated, and that includes celery. I actually, for the first time, dehydrated some celery leaves, and I actually have some of those celery leaves here. I just have to ground them up. But I have done a couple of batches of dehydrating celery leaves, and so I added all of those things into my shepherd's pie. So it was a grand success. I'm thankful for that. And I made enough that we had shepherd's pie for supper last night, and we're going to have shepherd's pie again tonight. Today actually is going to be a very busy day for me. I'm going to be heading outside. I have some garden work to do, like some cleanup I have to do, some things around the yard. Just do as much as I can today outside anyway. But I won't have to cook because for lunch, Joshua and I can have the corn chowder, and for supper, we will all have the shepherd's pie. So we're all set, my friends. So shepherd's pie is on the menu. I had taken some of my bread, homemade bread, out of my bread box and noticed that it was starting to get a little too dry for sandwiches, but it wasn't stale or anything. It was just starting to get a little bit dry. So what did I do? I decided it was time again to make some bread pudding. Well, my friends, I want to thank you so much for joining me here today and for your listening ear. It's so relaxing and so much fun for me just to share with you what goes on in our daily life, what kind of things I do in my kitchen, and when we go on adventures, it's great to have you there with us. My friends, you are a joy, and if you like this vlog, please give me the YouTube thumbs up or press that subscribe button. That would be great. And we have more vlogs coming up, so stay tuned, and we'll talk to you all soon. Talk to you soon, my friends. Bye. Bye.